are looking at the issue of taxation, right? Talking precisely about an upward review of value added tax, the implication for the Nigerian economy and citizens.
Yes, the implication of an upward review of value-added tax. How is it going to affect us as a nation and also affect us as individuals?
As a matter of fact, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, said that a value-added tax, for instance, that he said they have been doing just about 20% coverage, and they think that just by increasing coverage, they could do more, and so they could earn. We as Nigerians could earn more in terms of local resources.
Probably is he talking as the Vice President of Nigeria, or is it actually talking
as a citizen
of Nigeria?
Well, those are many more.
You might not be able to, remove the office from the president. Well, this morning we are not alone in the studio, so we're not going to do this alone. We're not going to talk and, assume things. We have in the studio with us two beautiful guests.
Yes, two beautiful guests, talking about Mrs. Omokemi Ladipo, a professional lecturer, as well as Mr. Mansur Oladusu, also a lecturer in Impact Business School. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you all are really, really good this morning. Yeah. Okay, let's start this way. In your own candid opinion, do you think there should be an upward review on tax?
Well, if we say, should there be an upward review of VAT, value-added tax?
Value-added tax.
So if we want to say for listeners at home, we need to first look at, maybe Mrs. Omokemi will do that for us.
Okay.
But say we should review the value-added tax upward. Among the worst, value of VAT in Nigeria is one of the lowest.
Okay.
So based on that, if you review it upward, fine. But there are things that the government is trying to do now that we had more headache to the citizen. So that's why I'm not in support of reviewing value-added tax upward, because there are some transactions now, especially in the banking industry now, that if you want to do now, that they are saying if you are transferring money from one place to another, you pay this. If you are doing transfer from your account to another person in another place, in another bank, from Zenith Bank to whatever, so you pay, what do we call it, stamp duties, which is 15 naira. And they've even done the calculation of how much the government could get from that alone. So it still boils down to the citizenry. Then there's another one that they are saying that if you make a withdrawal, 1 per mail, that is 1 on 1,000 naira that you withdraw, you pay 1 naira on it. So it's another burden for the citizen that
apart from naira,
ATM. So if you now increase VAT again, it will still boil down to the citizen. So maybe the Mrs. Makemi will let our listeners at home know what this VAT really is.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. If we have to look at all this, we need to first of all find out what VAT is, which is value-added tax. VAT is a tax. It's on consumption, on special goods and services. It's not meant for everybody. It's for people that consume these special goods and services. And if you look at the situation of the country right now, I think we need a little diversification from crude oil money. We've been depending on this for a long time.
Okay, you also support diversification?
I support diversification. From crude oil, we've depended on this for a long time, and we discovered that, by and large, we've not been able to, gain as citizens. We've not been able to gain as much as we are supposed to from crude oil money.
When this tax is increased, who do you think will benefit the most?
It's two-sided. It's two-sided in the sense that if the tax is increased, and the money comes in, one, the government will get enough funds to use. Then the government will not be using this for its own, because we are the government. So whatever the government gets will be used on infrastructure, which is lacking at present in Nigeria. So that's what we need. But my take is just that when we look at holistically, when we look at it, we will see that there are other areas that the government is bringing in more tax, a sort of multiple taxation. That's just what I'm saying or I'm looking at. Like the ones I mentioned now, all those ones, the stamp duties, though it has been there for long, which has not been implemented, fine, it's there as well. The withdrawal or the deposit, if I pay into your account now, that means your account will be charged 50 naira. They are bringing that in. So automatically, if I'm sending money to you, I'm paying 10,000 naira into your account now, I have to add another 50 naira to it, so that when you are withdrawing the 10,000 naira, the 50 naira deduction will not reduce that 10,000 naira from it. So all these are the things that the government is bringing in now. That's why I'm saying it will be a sort of multiple taxation on the citizenry.
And do you think that would be too much for us to bear?
Yeah. Everybody knows his or her pocket.
Well, because Nigerians are assumed paying tax, so much. So yet Nigerians are still complaining of bad roads, bad infrastructure, which of 10 times are described as death traps. So lack of infrastructure facilities such as schools, electricity, water, to mention but a few. Why do you still have this lingering, despite the fact that we pay tax?
Oh, well, let's believe that this administration is going to be the ideal thing we are expecting. And so far, so good. We believe we are still going on the line of the ideal situation.
Okay.
And what I mean by this is that if the element of corruption is removed, of course, we are supposed to enjoy all these infrastructures. But with the element of corruption in the system, the same problem will persist, even if we are paying tax or we are not paying tax. And even in the past, or even and up to now, they were paying. We are getting revenue from oil money. We are still not getting the necessary infrastructures. The citizens are not enjoying it. Our students, our children are not enjoying the right benefits expected. So now, if tax is increased, if we have multiple taxation, and that element of corruption is still in the system, the same problem will still persist. But this administration is trying to fight corruption.
Right.
We can see that. If, by God's grace, he succeeds, I believe all things will be very okay. We are going to improve. Nigeria is going to improve. We are looking forward to the situation whereby our children will go to school, they will not have to pay school fees, they will be, they will have all the necessary facilities to grow well, they will have to put on nice clothes, and they will enjoy their lives. Even we, all of us, citizens.
Right.
Like we want, in some foreign countries, developed countries,
Okay.
when they talk, they are talking about dying for their country. They place their country first.
Patriotism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we do that? Can we say the same thing
Can
in
you do
Nigeria?
that?
Oh, I don't. That question.
Well, okay, maybe Nigeria of today, no one would want to do that. But Nigeria in the ideal situation, an ideal setting, maybe we want to do that. That is the reason the question is being thrown at you. That can you actually, as a compatriot, can you actually die for your country?
Yeah, our national anthem says, "Arise, O compatriots,"
And we sing it every day.
and we are singing it every day.
And our pledge says, I pledge to Nigeria, my country.
Can we
Be
really,
faithful, loyal,
from our
and
heart,
honest.
from our heart of hearts, can we really do it? Are we really
Ready to.
patriotic? That is the issue. But because I have to move on the road and the roads are bad, fine, and the road safety will still come and arrest you, ask you to bring out your fire extinguisher, what about the havoc being caused by the road itself? That is not my duty to do. That is one thing. Another thing, let's look at the high unemployment rate. People are getting out of school every day, and yet there's no job. There's nothing to feed on. So everybody is now bordering on entrepreneurship and things like that. But before you start entrepreneurship, you need capital, you need a lot of things to get yourself together.
Even the infrastructure,
And so
like
we are
electricity and all that.
Because the necessary things are not in place. Electricity is not in place. So companies are folding up, they are going to other countries to reestablish. They are leaving Nigeria. No, this is not a good thing to always think about. All we are only being hopeful. We are hopeful. Nigerians are, they are people that can endure.
So,
We endure.
are you blaming us for having this endurance?
No, it's a good thing. We are very prayerful.
But I think it has got to a level that Nigerians are really speaking out loud now.
Yeah, we are speaking out. We are praying to God to hear our prayers.
Now, while you were talking, you said that the foreign investments, foreign investors are leaving the country, taking their investments away from the country. But those that still remain in the country, do you think they are not guilty of tax evasion? I mean, evasion rather.
Well, we cannot. I cannot say that specifically. But one thing I know is that majority of them have been haunted recently. So there's no way they can really evade taxation. And apart from that, the system of accounting nowadays is different from the way it used to be.
Okay.
It is now better off.
Okay.
Most of the things going on in the organizations are being exposed. So there's no way, one way or the other, they will have to expose their real profit. And their tax are being paid compulsorily. And they are being haunted. We have a tax investigation all over the place. And they pay penalty, they pay all the necessary dues. Otherwise, they know that their companies are the companies are in serious problems or challenges. So that is the situation.
Well,
The ones that are here, they are not really enjoying their stay.
okay.
They spend a lot to keep the companies on. They go through a very hard time to make sure that the companies are standing. And that is not too good enough. Most of them are even threatening to leave. Most of them will have branches outside the country. Instead of extending to the north or to the east or to the west, they prefer to go out of Nigeria.
Well, those who even decide to stay, is it because of the fact that they pay tax and they feel probably they are paying too much of tax? That is the reason the citizens are still talking about the employees. They are being maltreated because the way some people work for these foreign investors, it's really nothing to write them about.
Well, from that your point, when we look at it from here, in fact, throughout the Federation, Nigerians working for all these foreign companies, they are really being treated badly. When I wanted to add my high tea at Salta, I had that similar experience. Ogun State. I had to leave the following day. I can't cope with this.
But you only spent a day?
Yes.
So
7 to 7. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And what do you think is the reason for that?
That's the way they want it. And we're supposed not to be, because we have the labor laws in Nigeria. The chief labor officer, that's the Minister of Labor and Productivity, should be on top of his job. The commissioner for labor in each state of the federation should equally be on top of their job. That's their job. That's their work. Look at the labor laws. If you look at the labor laws, they need to comply with all these laws. They need to provide a safe, healthy working environment for their workers. Are the workers safe? Is the environment healthy for the workers? Is the remuneration they are paying Nigerians working in all these companies, is the remuneration commensurate with what they are giving? So that's where our government needs to stand up and look at the things the way it should be done. You know, we don't go abroad and do things like this there. But in Nigeria, anything goes. That's another problem we are having.
well, I
Because
think
I'm sorry, I'm also thinking that hope is not from the top. And
Yes.
they are not taking it out on the citizens.
Exactly.
That's it. But I believe the chief labor officer, this is the Minister of Labor and Productivity, we have laws in Nigeria that are not being implemented.
Did they even read this law?
That's the problem. If you read that labor law, I once read it. If you read that labor law, you will see all these things there.
Then why don't we, enlightened one, read it and also pitch for implementation?
If you say it, if you are not in the position to implement it, what do you do? What do you do?
Excuse me. There's no way they will not be taking us for granted if the necessary facilities are not in place. When the necessary facilities are in place, we can dictate. The government can even tell them that you cannot pay my citizens less than this amount. The minimum, wage will come in. You can increase it from what it used to be, the recent one, and then at the same time, they can even specify condition of service.
Like putting us into consideration that when these people bring in most of their raw materials, the only thing they get is just the labor force.
Yeah, because it's a cheap labor.
Yes, I think we have the population, which is an advantage. We have the population, and I can't say the raw materials, they brought the raw material solely from abroad. We have it. The problem they have is that they believe they can get cheap labor here. Fine. But if you get the labor here, do the right thing for Nigerians.
But even Nigerians, how are they treating Nigerians?
That's the problem.
Yes,
That's the problem.
If
That's why I said.
Let's not look at the foreigners now. Let's come back home. Nigerians to Nigerians. A Nigerian employer, how does he or she treats the Nigerian employee?
Well, the Nigerian employers are actually managing, struggling to survive.
In terms
of the necessary facilities, resources, and everything.
Right.
Capital to run the business. The banks will not give you money, or else you have collateral. And where is your collateral going to come from? Whereas they have to look at your integrity. They can start from small. If you are faithful, they give you more. Faithful, they give you more. So, but in Nigeria, they will ask you for a collateral. Even if you are starting your business today, you have to go and look for collateral from nowhere. But you have to generate your collateral from something. You have to start from somewhere.
Because if we are doing that to ourselves, how then do we encourage
Foreigners.
That is part of our economy.
To treat us.
That is part of our
That was
nation.
why I said the government needs to be alive to its responsibility on that.
But the thing is that these foreign investors, let's go back to them. When they come to Nigeria, they believe that, well, we have paid so much to invest in this country. And our politicians, maybe by virtue of going to one corner of the room, collect some Ghana must go, so to speak, they feel that all these things should be meted out on the employees, because we have labored real hard to put all these facilities in place in order to get our own profits. So part of it is that you, Africans, Nigerians precisely, will suffer for it.
That's the problem. Well, there is in economy, they call something growth drivers. Growth drivers. All this infrastructure of a thing that we are seeing is part of the growth driver. Roads, power, everything you can say you need to work, to operate in the country. If they are there, you have no cost to come in here after giving you tax holiday, tax incentive that the government has given you. You have no cost to come down here and now treat the citizen shabby. That's another problem we have. That's another problem. Because we wouldn't have found ourselves in this position that we find ourselves. I didn't be the time we were selling petrol, crude oil, at the rate of like $124 per barrel. Nigeria have sold petrol for $124 per barrel before now. What did we do with this money? What did we do? And then the budget we do, I think it was $70 per barrel that they base budget on. Then the excess crude, what have we done with the money? That's why we find ourselves in this position that we find ourselves now.
Well, let's get back to the issue of tax.
Really? Okay. Recently, the IMF boss came to Nigeria, and as part of a recommendation, was supposed to increase
The VAT.
the VAT. And now the vice president, Oshibajo, has gone to the World Economic Forum, and granting an interview, he said that I think it's time for us now to do something. Do you think he's trying to follow on the recommendation of the IMF boss?
I don't think it's just because the IMF boss recommends that our tax is one of the lowest in the world, so Nigeria now needs to increase its VAT. I don't believe that. Because there is a saying, Yoruba will say, that whoever they teach how to do something, and he does that thing that same way. It is what he himself wants to do. So I don't believe it's just because Christian like that came to Nigeria and now say, okay, try and increase of VAT. I don't believe that's it. But I believe what the government is trying to look at, the government is trying to look at all avenues of generating more funds, of bringing in more money for the government, so that we can have all this infrastructure that we are saying is lacking in the country. So I don't believe it's basically because Christian Lagarde has advised the government that it should increase its VAT. Look, what of all those other ones, these stamp duties? The act has been there for long, but it has not been implemented. The Stamp Duties Act has been there. They are thinking towards that direction as well. They are thinking towards other directions as well. So I don't believe basically because the madam came to Nigeria.
Okay,
So,
you want to quickly make a point?
yeah, in Nigeria, there's a very wide gap between the rich and the poor. So this VAT issue can help to bridge the gap.
In what way?
In what way? Yeah, because the rich will consume these special goods and services more.
Okay.
Like if you want to buy gold, you want to buy imported dresses, specially labeled dresses from abroad and things like that. You have to pay VAT on them. By the time you are paying VAT on them, you are returning part of that money back to the citizens because it's going into the government's coffer, and government is going to use it for our infrastructures. So that is a very good idea. It's not something that is going to affect everybody,
Okay.
but those that consume that special, those things are luxurious. They are not the basic necessities of life. The basic necessities of life are already exempted,
Okay.
like medical items,
So there's no
pharmaceutical
value.
items,
What
baby
about
products,
electricity?
agricultural.
On electricity?
No, I don't know. Well, that one
That's the point, man. That's the point I'm driving at.
Because we have
Even there are some banking transactions.
on
There are some
electricity.
banking transactions that you do that you pay
It's
VAT.
minimal.
Let's take it one after the other. Now, I know there is much debate about removing the VAT on that electricity.
Yeah, because that electricity, it ought to be removed actually, because it goes round. It's not more a luxurious product.
Okay, fine. Looking at the luxury, some people will say, oh, you watch movies. Some will say you iron your clothes. Some will say, it's basic necessity. But the thing is, when even then we pay VAT on electricity, we don't get the service, we don't get the line, we don't get the supply. Now the VAT is going to be removed. Do you think we're going to have electricity at all?
The VAT is going to the government coffer. It has nothing to do with the business. It's not business money. It's not PHCN's money.
Or do you think they are utilizing this money correctly? That is the problem.
We are hoping. We are hoping things will
because
improve with the
right
right administration, with the
Yes.
focused administration. We believe things are going to change for better.
Okay.
So like now we are buying fuel as of today. Every station is selling fuel 86 naira 50 kobo. That is good. It's still stable. It's stable for now.
Although personally,
So we are hoping things will be better in other areas too.
Okay, you're still on to Impact Business Radio, IBR 92.5 FM. We are talking about an upward review of value-added tax implication for the Nigerian economy and citizens. And we've been in the studio talking with Mrs. Omokemi Oladipo, professional lecturer, as well as Mr. Mansur Oladusu, a lecturer also in the Impact Business School. My name is Ibrahim Shita.
And I'm Okoyemi Odabando.
Yes, as we had said earlier on, we talked about patriotism, we talked about corruption, we talked about things that really are affecting taxation in Nigeria.
I don't think the government needs a situation whereby you allow import. Goose, rice, there are in some states in Nigeria, they produce this rice. We can produce it. Let them import it, but let there be tax on it. This will encourage local production. This will encourage local industries to go. That's one of the importance or advantages of tax. It will encourage local industries to go. All these people, if they see that the rice coming is taxed, they will be encouraged to produce. They know there is market for it and there is demand, because it is the demand that creates the market. If there is demand, then there is market. They know there is demand for rice. They will be encouraged to produce. And those that are importing will equally be looking inward for ways of saying, okay, if government is discouraging us from importing this thing. Let's look inward and look for one way or the other. Maybe we go into rice production ourselves, or we encourage those that are producing to produce more.
If you have a business, which you are running, and maybe the business is not really thriving, then you are mandated to pay tax as a civic duty. Your business is not really thriving. Is there anything that you think the government can do in order to help you alleviate the maybe high payment of tax?
I think you want to say something?
Yeah, if your business is not thriving, you don't pay the same tax as those people whose business is thriving. You pay minimum tax. There's something we call minimum tax. So there's a certain level which is not really going to affect you more. It's not going to be a disadvantage to your system at the same time that you have to pay. So that is about that.
Well, how would it be known that you are not actually profiting from what you are venturing into?
So your accounting system will show, your financial statement will show it. And if they suspect you, because if you keep declaring minimum tax for like 2, 3, 4 years, the Inland Revenue, the tax authorities, they will come to your company to come and check you out. And they find out that you are true to your words, then you are okay to go. But if not, they will charge you, and then they will make you pay all the backlog, which we call back duty. They make you pay all the backlogs. So that is about that. And then when you talk about issue on tax holiday, tax holidays are given to companies or foreign investors in order to encourage them to come and invest in the country. It's just for them to invite them in, encourage them to come in. And so when they come in, they make them enjoy some holiday
for some years,
some period of tax for some years. It has limitation.
Yes, could be how many range?
3 years. And sometimes you might have an opportunity to extend you apply especially for that. And they will look at the situation, they will look at your situation in the country, how well you have established and how well you are thriving before they can give you that extra 1 year or 2 year extension. But aside from that, you continue to pay your tax. And by so doing, you reduce your unemployment in the country. You help to employ our citizens.
Basically to encourage foreign investors.
And of course, those items they are bringing in or whatever they are coming to invest in is going to be those things that will be beneficial to the citizens, especially those things that compulsorily they must have. You understand? So that is how it goes.
I'd like to ask you this question. Why do people feel cheated when it comes to tax?
Well, I don't think they should feel cheated. It's already a law. It's a law. There's a percentage you have to pay. Whatever tax you are paying, either corporate tax, personal income tax. It's not easy to give up. People don't want to really release. That is the issue.
Especially when you're not getting back.
Well, and then that's another point. If you're not really getting back what you are expected to get back, so you feel reluctant to pay that. What is the essence? But when you are getting back, you are getting value for your money. You're getting value for your money. You don't care. Like some countries I know, if you are not employed, you get some amount of money, you still don't go hungry. You still have to eat. You still have to eat.
It's such a welfare package.
You have welfare package. It's something I've seen, I've experienced it. You get meal ticket, you go to the supermarket, buy everything any other person is buying, and you feed until you get a job.
Okay, I want to know, because I know some people will still be quizzical about this. Who are really responsible, are really due to pay tax? Who and who? Because for the benefit of those that are just growing up, to know that, okay, when I'm doing this, when I attain certain age, this is my duty to be paying tax. Who and who has to be paying tax, directly or indirectly?
Those that should pay tax are those in the active age bracket. Active age bracket, maybe 16 to 55 or 60. Those are the people that ought to be. They are working, they are active, they are expected to work.
Okay.
And those are the people that are expected. Anything below or above that are expected to enjoy the benefit of tax. Because during their active age, they are expected to have paid, and after, when they are retiring, they are supposed to enjoy the benefit.
But even when they're not,
and when they are still growing, you are still young and still growing, they're supposed to be enjoying it. So when you know you have a future, there's a hope that even when I retire, my feed money is there. And I have to go transport myself from one place to another. I don't have to pay transport fare. You will be so happy. You feel rest assured. You won't care. It's like you are saving for your future.
I don't understand. You pay tax. Is tax a similitude of pension?
No, it's a little bit different.
Okay, tell us more.
Pension is a saving from your income that you're going to get back
Okay.
after retirement.
Okay.
You know, a stipend you getting back after retirement if you are not working. But when it is taxation, you can go to the hospital without paying anything.
In Nigeria.
No, I'm saying that is how it should be.
In ideal setting.
In a ideal setting, in a ideal situation, you can go to the hospital without paying a dime. You can ply the road without paying transport fare. You have good network system. You can make a call to the hospital that you're having headache and the ambulance is there to pick you up.
But seriously, this sounds good. It's really good to the hearing than meets the eye. The thing is, it is only the time you enjoy medical services when you have social events, when you have something coming up. They say, oh, free medical test. Oh, free HIV and AIDS test.
Those are tests.
That just test. If you go to some hospitals, you want to do ordinary malaria test. You know, you pay much.
Yeah, that one is just to attract some attention, to gain some attention one way or the
Should
other.
it be so?
Why can't it continue? Why can't it be like that? I'm sorry to say.
I'm asking you too.
It shouldn't be so. There was a time I had an experience. I went to a public clinic.
Okay.
People got there 7 a.m. I got there 8. I expected to leave there in an hour or 2.
No.
I didn't leave until 4 in the evening.
What happened?
Oh, because the nurses are just moving around
That is another thing,
aimlessly.
the lackadaisical attitude of this.
The doctors will not be on seat on time. And after that, they have a long queue to attend to. We have limited number of doctors on seat. After that, they will give you paracetamol, ask you to go and buy the remaining drugs outside.
So it's
and
only
they
paracetamol
said
that is free?
medical service is free. And at the end of the day, you go to the laboratory to run your test, you pay. You pay for syringe and needle, you pay for the bottle, you pay for the test, you pay for the containers they're going to use, you pay for the test itself. After that, you'll be given paracetamol and you have taken a free medical
So where
service.
is the tax?
So taxpayers'
Where does
money
it come
can
in?
we actually say is
And
working?
we are campaigning free medical services.
Okay, my friend, this is where we draw the curtain and rise and shine this morning. But before we leave, one final word from Mr. Masur as well as Mrs.
Okay.
Omokemi.
We should pay our taxes, and government should be alive to its responsibility.
And our
Mrs.
professional lecturer.
I would say, I pledge to Nigeria, my country.
So
So
be
I want
faithful.
Nigeria to be faithful.
Yes,
Yeah, so I want
loyal.
Nigeria to be faithful
Mhm.
to us citizens.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for coming. And how do you feel on the show this morning?
No, I feel good. It's okay.
It feels great, especially when you're Nigeria's first business radio station.
Thank
Talking
you.
about taxation. Okay, we'd like to have you more time to come. Okay, this is Rise and Shine, and here we draw the curtain. It's always like we shouldn't even go. Oh, you're looking for the curtain?
Yes, looking for the.
Well, you need to go back to your office to look for the curtain.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, many thanks to all of us as you've been with us. You've risen up with us since 5 a.m. up until now, and we're still going on and on and on with several different lovely programs for your business, enterprise, and pleasure. Not just pleasure, business, enterprise, and pleasure. As we say, all the news, all the fun, all the time in your business interest. My name is Ibrahim Shita.
And I'm Okwemi Ojabanjo. Wishing you the best of the day.
Have
Take good care of
a
yourself.
lovely day. Goodbye.